Have you ever wondered why some people act the way they do? For example, let's say there are 5 children in a moderate middle-class family that were all brought up with good values and morals. All the children received equal love from their parents and never really wanted for anything. Out of these 5 children, 4 of them go on to complete college degrees and become successful professionals in their respective fields. The other child, however, ends up in a life of drug abuse, crime, and jail. The parents are left wondering, where did they go wrong? Never fully understanding why this child went off the rails. To make matters worse, it does not matter what support is offered by the parents or siblings, because no one seems to be able to get through to them. More often than not, the troubled child will usually suicide or die from an overdose. It seems like a life lost and wasted. People tend to make up all sorts of reasons for why this all too familiar story unfolds, but at the end of the day it comes down to one thing: soul age. Soul age is a major contributing factor for all human behaviour, be it good or bad. In fact, soul age determines how a person navigates their life. To fully understand soul ages, we must first understand where the concept comes from. Reincarnation. Reincarnation is the process of dying in one physical body and after a certain time being born back into a new physical body. Contrary to popular belief, once you live and die as a human, you will always be reborn into a human body. Souls never de-evolve by taking on animal or insect lives. On average, a soul reincarnates between 500 and 600 times before it ceases to incarnate. But soul age does not refer to how many times a soul has incarnated. It refers to the lessons that they have learned in the lives they have lived. You see, the purpose of reincarnation is to learn and ultimately evolve to a higher state of awareness. So all souls start off at the same level, called infant souls, and then move up to baby souls, then young souls, then mature souls, and finally old souls. There are 7 levels within each soul age. So someone may be a young soul at the 7th level, so they will behave and think differently to someone who is a 1st level young soul. Soul age also determines where you end up when you die and go back to the spirit plane. The spirit plane is also divided up into different levels. Each level is a higher vibration or frequency than the one below it. So, like soul ages, there are 7 levels in the spirit plane, each divided again into 7 subplanes. The lowest, and therefore the densest, sits just above the 3rd dimension or physical plane, where you are right now. If there really was a place called hell, this level may resemble it best. But there is no fire and no devil or Satan. There is only psychological and self-entrapment and torment. However, to more advanced souls, the uncomfortable hell feeling can last right up to about the 4th level. On the other extreme is the 7th level, and this is beyond human understanding at the moment. It is known as the mental plane, and it is here that souls merge into one super consciousness. Whether this super soul is God or assimilates with God, at this point I don't know, and I don't think anyone on earth does. We've all heard people say they are in 7th heaven, but I don't think they were referring to this place. In fact, what many people believe to be the heaven of the Bible is actually located around the 4th level of the spirit plane. Souls stop incarnating once they reach the level 5.5, that is around the 5th subplane of the 5th spirit plane. This is where all full-time spirit guides reside, and levels 5.5 and all of 6. But it's not just spirit guides that reside there, there's other souls as well, but that's where all the spirit guides live anyway. You may ask, why bother to incarnate on earth at all? Why don't we just stay on the spirit plane? After all, it's much easier and nicer there. Another question I hear a lot is, what about children that die very young? I mean, what was the point of that? And what about people that are born with disabilities? I mean, that's not fair. Well, quite simply, the earth plane was created to accelerate soul's advancement. On the spirit plane, there is no negative energy whatsoever. Since souls want to learn about all aspects of creation, they must also experience the negative side. The problem with experiencing the negative aspect of a situation in a place that does not contain negative energy is that it's not very productive. It's like trying to learn to swim in the middle of a desert. While you can imagine the feeling of water and imagine the sensation of swimming and go through the motions, you'll never really understand it until you go into the water. Indeed, if you have always lived in extreme heat, how could you truly imagine extreme cold? You can read all the books you like and attend all the workshops in the world, but without a reference point to start from, you have very little chance of fully grasping the concept. So in reality, a child growing up in a war-torn country that has only ever known hunger, fear and hardship, who dies at 12 years old, has a soul that will learn more in that short life compared to a soul that stayed in spirit. To give you an idea, the negative trait of abandonment would take a soul about 10 million Earth years to intellectually understand what it feels like to be abandoned by your parents. Where on the other hand, a life as a girl in India could knock that one on the head in under a decade. So you see, the Earth offers souls a chance to fast track their learning and progress at a rapid pace. But make no mistakes, it is incredibly hard work for souls to come to Earth. But believe it or not, the rewards are worth it. Technically, a soul could progress to an old soul age in a couple of 100 years, but more likely it actually takes a few thousand. So, as I stated earlier, soul age is determined by how many lessons a soul has learnt. By learning a particular lesson, a soul automatically moves a little higher up their evolutionary path. By a rough rule of thumb, a soul progresses from one level to the next every 25 to 30 lives. So in other words, to go from infant soul to baby soul takes about 25 to 30 lifetimes. Unfortunately, many souls become distracted or jaded and can wallow on the same level for hundreds of lives. This is because they fail to learn a particular lesson and will continually, life after life, retreat back to their safe zone of familiarity, even if it's not good for them. These safety zones usually revolve around substance abuse, greed, power, lust, sexual hedonism, and depravity. It should be remembered that 100% of all lessons you come to Earth to learn are about overcoming some fear-based emotion. As I have spoken about in previous videos, fear-based emotions include fear, greed, jealousy, self-loathing, self-harm, and many more. It is easy to tell if you've already learned a lesson in a previous life. Just ask yourself a series of questions like these. Is it okay to kill someone out of greed or anger or passion? Is it okay to kill someone who abused my child or my loved ones? Would I steal from a friend or a family member? Or it's okay to steal from a family member if they have wronged me in the past? Or would I assault a stranger for pleasure or satisfaction? Can I forgive someone that has lied or cheated me? I believe in an eye for an eye punishment. Or salvation can only be found through accepting Jesus as my own personal saviour. Be honest with yourself. You will usually feel a sensation like a heaviness in your solar plexus if you have not truly learnt a lesson. There is no shame in admitting the truth. In fact, once you realise there are lessons you have not yet learned, it gives you a perfect opportunity to learn them in this life. A good one to start with is forgiveness. Forgive yourself, your parents, siblings, friends, in fact, anyone or anything, as in an institution, a government, school, anyone that you feel that has slighted you. This could even include your country. Eventually you will work it out that everyone in your life is doing exactly what you asked them to do before you even got here. But we'll talk about that one later. Some souls will choose to accelerate their learning even faster by choosing a particularly difficult life. Maybe it's because they wasted a few lives having lives of luxury, or they failed to learn a lesson time after time, or maybe they just want to get it over and done with. But these lives usually will be a life without very much money, a lot of illness or loneliness, and other times they'll incarnate into a country that is predominantly a younger soul group than what they are. And yeah, that's right, countries have a predominance of soul ages in them, which we'll discuss in later videos. By understanding soul age, it helps you to better understand human behaviour. It also explains why the world is in the state in which it is in and why things are changing so rapidly. The Earth is in a constant state of flux. In the past, Earth was predominantly inhabited by mature and old souls. But during the fall of Atlantis about 3,100 years ago, most of the mature and old souls left the Earth and the infant, baby and young souls took over. And they have been dominating the planet ever since. But as I have stated, the Earth is very rarely stagnant. So the upcoming ascension will once again see a predominance of mature and old souls populate the planet again. By now you're probably thinking one of three things. What soul age am I? Or my friends, my boyfriend, girlfriend, etc. Or, I already know I'm an old soul and this is my last life. And I bet you're in the New Age movement, so I would strongly recommend you hang around to find out a bit more. Or finally you're thinking, Jesus is my own personal saviour and this mumbo jumbo is going to get me burnt in hell. I'm out of here. No worries, see you later. I probably couldn't help you anyway. So coming up, I will examine each soul age group and break down the typical personality traits associated with them. So first up, we'll examine infant souls.